Hey guys, so I am back from Italy. I guess it's been about 2 weeks since I caught up with you guys, and we just had like the best time. For those of you who weren't here for the last one, my husband and I actually went out to Tuscany for our 10-year anniversary, and it was just awesome. If you've been to Italy, all you do is drink and eat, and the people are so nice and warm and hospitable. It's just wonderful. So we did a couple days in Florence, and then we actually went to 2 different resorts, or like villa/hotels in the Tuscany countryside, and it was great. We had a wonderful time, but now we're back to real life. And I actually didn't get that much knitting done, except for kind of on the airplane on the way home. On the way there, it was the red eye, so I tried to sleep. But on the way home, I actually was trying to stay awake so that I would kind of get back on this time. And yeah, so I did knit quite a bit on the way back on a pair of socks, but that was about it. And I actually didn't even buy much yarn. I did buy a little bit of yarn while we were in Florence, but I didn't have the greatest luck finding a great shop or anything. But I did get a little bit of locally made yarn, and it was really kind of a shame because one of the places that we stayed, they actually had sheep on the property, they had alpacas, and they kept the sheep just for cheese making, and the alpacas apparently were just there because people like them. But yeah, they didn't actually make yarn, or even I don't know what they did with their fleece, but it was nothing that I could actually purchase. I tried. So yeah, so we're back, and I hope everybody had a great 2 weeks we were gone. But let me show you what I did get done. Actually, first off is I finished a hat last time, but I couldn't show you because the pattern wasn't really set. But this is the Tamitik hat by Shannon Cook, who's so very Shannon. And I knit it out of Plucky Knitter Dandy, which is a bulky yarn, and it's kind of like, I showed it to you guys before, but it's like a blown yarn, so it's very kind of smooth, but has a nice fluffy sheen to it. It's really beautiful, and I topped it with this pretty pom from Elle Vintage. It's a super cute hat. I would put it on, but it's been raining out here today, and my hair is sopping wet, and it's up in a bun, so it won't work. But it's super cute. I'm really happy. This pattern took no time at all. I mean, it's bulky weight yarn, and with the slip stitches, it's like you're barely knitting half the rows. So really quick. I totally recommend this pattern. Super easy, great bulky weight hat for the winter, which are kind of my favorite because they actually do keep you warm. So, and randomly enough, actually, I am wearing today the Veronica Cardi, which is also by Shannon. I knit this, I guess, last year, and it's just awesome. I knit it out of Yoth Yarns, and I can't remember the name of the yarn, but it's like kind of their rustic one. Yeah, it's huge, it's big. I kind of use it as like a sweatshirt alternative for when you're like hanging out at the house or out and about. But I just have it on over leggings and black, so it's perfect. Yeah, so I finished that, and then so one of the things that I worked on were my September socks, which I was hoping to finish, but yeah, no, I didn't. I am to the ribbing. What is today? Today is like the 28th, I think, the 28th. So I have like 2 more days to finish them for September. But I just started the ribbing, and this is Woolberry yarn in the blueberry colorway, which is this. I love it. I mean, I really love an indie dyer who does like subtle speckles, but you can still see them. Like, they're pronounced, but they're not like mashy. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you get yarn and it all just like blends together, and that's great in certain projects, but I think there's something special when you can actually like see like each individual little tiny speckle. There's probably a name for that, but I don't know what it is. But yes, for those who are interested, I did toe up, an afterthought heel with waist yarn in. A lot of you were like, oh my gosh, you cut your knitting. No, people, I am like really risk averse, and I'm sure I could do it, but I put in waist yarn just in case, because it's super easy to do anyways. And then for the ribbing, Oh, and sorry, this sock set actually came with 2 little minis. Making a mess. This green and this blue. So I'm using the green for obviously the toes and the cuffs, and then I'm gonna do the blue for the heels, which hopefully will be done tomorrow. But one thing I'm doing that I normally don't do on my socks, I normally am a big fan of 1x1 rib on socks. And for this one, I actually was working on a project recently and it had you do ribbing of knit through the back twice and then purl once. And I loved the look. Can you guys see that? It's a really pretty rib. It does take a little bit longer just because you can't get in the flow quite as much with knitting through the back loop, or at least I can't. But it's really pretty and I think I'm gonna like it a lot. So we'll see. Yeah, so those are there. Oh, something I wanted to mention, as everybody, it's like when I say I'm bringing my knitting traveling, I got so many questions about traveling with your knitting needles. Actually, probably the only question that I ever get asked more is how I knit my socks. But my advice for traveling with your knitting, and I have traveled, like I've been lucky enough to travel to a lot of countries with my knitting, and I've never had any problems except in 2 countries. One is Switzerland, because they blatantly say like you cannot have knitting needles or metal knitting needles. They allow you wood, so that was something to be cautious about. And 2 was Mexico, because Mexico straight up allows no knitting needles, like at all. Like it's on their little sign of prohibited items. So what I do is I bring wood. Obviously you have no problems when you're leaving the US or Canada, but it's when you're leaving that country, their security might take them. So it's always a really good idea, and this is always my recommendation, is just to Google prohibited items from the airport that you're flying out of. And that's, and even if they do prohibit needles, sometimes I'll go with wood just because if you don't get stopped and they don't go off in the metal detector, then you kind of run the risk of them taking them, but you have your knitting if you can kind of like slide it through. So that's my recommendation, but look out for those 2 countries, Switzerland and Mexico. Mexico for sure will take your knitting. Well, maybe not your knitting, but it'll take your needles. Okay. So the other project I've been working on, and you guys kind of saw this, like the start of this last little podcast, or whatever this is that I'm doing. But this is the Ingle sweater by Caitlin Hunter. So the yoke is pretty much done. I have just separated for the sleeves. Like I said, I just didn't knit as much as I thought I would on this trip because we were doing things. But yeah, so this is the yoke. The color work's all done. The lace is all done. It's really pretty. And this yarn is super, super soft. It's Cardiff Cashmere, which I bought the last time we were in Italy. So I thought this was very like apropos to be doing now. And it's living in my bag from Hikari, her little alpaca bag, which I love so much. Oh my gosh, this is like my favorite. I actually have it in a sock size too. I love it so much. But yeah, this is going really well. I'm really happy with this. And now we're just like round knitting. So we're good to go. But that's about it, guys. Glad to be back. Love seeing all of y'all's projects that I kind of missed out on this week. And that's about it. Have a good one. Bye.